Mabuhay, y'all! And hello, it is William calling from Movie Vlogs.
And it's Freddie here too, and we will be joined once again in this episode of What Really Happened at Eurovision, or What Is Happening at Eurovision, we haven't decided our title, by Joe Bennett.
Yeah, a forensic musicologist and professor at the Berklee College of Music in Boston, USA. Now, we often start our Filipino-related videos with a mabuhay, because we love the Philippines and the House of Wee Wee.
Have you been to the Philippines?
I spent a whole summer backpacking through Luzon. I had this incredible summer job. I was paid something like, was it $50 a day? And I just had to eat at restaurants, go to bars, review hotels. It was fabulous.
It was fabulous.
It was fabulous,
what
darling.
What a life, darling.
Yes, from Vigan in the north, San Fernando, Daet, of course, Manila. I would say mabuhay. I know one other word.
Okay, tell me.
Bakla.
What does bakla mean?
Gay.
Oh,
you can figure that one. You can figure that one out yourself.
William.
But listen, the reason we're talking about the Philippines is because the singer JJ, the countertenor JJ, is part Filipino.
Yes. Half Austrian, half Filipino. He'll be representing Austria, of course, at the Eurovision Song Contest this year with Wasted Love.
You know how he learned to sing?
How?
So he told me in Amsterdam that his mother would make him watch like these soap operas full of drama.
The telenovela.
Telenovela,
Yeah.
Indeed. And they would go to karaoke parties.
So he's keeping in touch with his culture.
Yeah, because karaoke's huge in the Philippines,
Sure.
as are those telenovelas.
Yeah.
So what happens when you marry drama with singing?
You get opera.
Opera!
No way.
Yes!
I think I watched that. I was there. For
You were
the intro
filming
time
it.
behind it. Yeah, and he was saying, and then his dad's obviously maybe panicking that his son's watching too much telenovela and karaoke, and introduced him to kind of Bach and Mozart the next day, right? That's what he said.
Very Austrian.
Yeah.
Very Austrian.
Yeah.
So the marriage of Filipino kind of pop culture, Austrian classical music culture, that kind of perfectly sums up Wasted Love, JJ's Eurovision 2025 song.
Yeah. This song hits you like a wall slamming into you. Like it gets big. It gets massive.
Yeah, it's funny, and it starts quiet and small. The music video is really cinematic, really beautiful. Basically, wasted love. When you love someone so much, you're putting it out there, and they don't or can't, or for whatever reason, love you back. Wasted love. Very tender.
Yeah. Let's have a little listen.
I'm an ocean of love, and you're scared of water. You don't want to go under, so you let me go under. Know that you're good, it's worse than love, it's worse than love. Know that you're good, can't find.
So this is a fantastic pop trick that they're using here. It might sound like opera. I mean, to me, it sounds a little bit like Billie Eilish. It's got that breathy vocal and that sort of descending melodic shape. But the chord sequence we've got, we're in the key of C sharp minor, and we're at 67.5 beats per minute, which is really slow for Eurovision. So it's kind of this tempo, 2, 3, 4, and the chord sequence, C sharp minor, da 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 da. Do 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 E, and then a B, and then these half bar changes A, G sharp, and that's the whole 4-bar loop. But what's interesting about it is that it's the same loop on the intro stroke verse as it is on the chorus. So you get this sense of, okay, this is the loop, I'm getting used to it. Then they mix it up a little, and we hear the pre-chorus, which is this section of melody, and it goes to a different chord, an F sharp minor.
Left me in the deep end.
So over that section, obviously we're distracted by the incredibly in-your-face soprano of the vocal, but the chords are the same as the verse. So you've got this, and this incredibly high melody, I guess it's up there. But the chords are the same. So we only sort of subconsciously notice that we're hearing familiar material. And this is one of the classic techniques of pop writing. You subconsciously tell the audience that they are hearing something they already know, and they feel a sense of comfort and familiarity while following what is in this case the dynamic journey of the song. Everything's louder, the singer's more in your face, there's a great big bass note hitting on the downbeat, but the chords are the same as these delicate piano chords.
So, William, you know who else did something very, very similar in the kind of repeating of phrases of the music was Queen, Loreen.
Oh, yes, Tattoo.
Tattoo, yes. I'm just going to play a little
bit. The beginning.
Yeah. Perfectly matches the bridge in that you could probably play them over each other. I'm not going to, but here, have a listen. And then comes up on the bridge. Yeah, that's something that Joe Bennett says kind of helps add a level of familiarity to the song. It kind of these are the kind of things that songwriters use to kind of make things feel comfortable to your ears, and kind of references bring you back to places. It's very clever.
Lots of pop songs have the intro containing harmonic or melodic, that is chords or top line, material taken from the chorus. And with my songwriting students, if they're trying to write for mainstream pop, what I say to them was, well, don't have a long intro while you're just playing chords till ready. Just play a little bit of the chorus. Maybe the second half of the chorus, 2 or 4 bars, could serve as your intro. And in fact, here's a bit of fun, Freddie. Let's try this. Let's try a little technical thing here and see if this works. I reckon we would be able to play the verse and chorus simultaneously in the left and right speaker here. With apologies for anyone listening on earbuds, it might be slightly freaky. But I think this is actually going to work because they're the same chords. Let's see how it sounds. And the reason they fit together is because it's the same chords played at the same time. So
that is amazing.
You can have the duet between the verse and chorus simultaneously.
Oh, well, that is very, very interesting. You know what? I love how it's like this warm blanket. The song is like this warm blanket for the first 2 minutes, right? He's getting you all cozy, wasted love. You're getting the feels. And then in the final 20 seconds, he rips it off. He rips off that blanket and exposes this totally different side of himself musically, that being the techno. And Freddie, we actually spoke with him in Amsterdam. You and I were there. Yeah. And he credited the producer of the song for this. Well, first he credited Taya from Austria, saying she encouraged him to mix genres, opera and pop. But then when they went to the bathroom on a toilet break, the producer was fiddling around at the studio, not in the toilet. And the producer said, I'm going to try something. I've got this idea. But by the time they came back, he had this crazy, crazy techno ending.
Yeah, it's kind of mad. I mean, if you think of the song, it's so tender, the way it begins, so slowly, so delicate. And then it completely shifts monumentally into this completely different vibe. A bit like similar, I guess, to kind of Karia's Cha-Cha-Cha in 2023. It's a completely different shift, the song. But it's just the tempo that goes up.
You know what the moral of this story is?
What's the moral of the story?
Always take that bathroom break so your producer can play with the tempo.
And of all the songs I've analysed so far of the likely finalists for Eurovision 2025, this is the only one that actually, at least I've spotted so far, that has a really distinct accel ramp. And the ramp lasts about 20-something seconds. So here's the chorus that leads into it. And we actually start at 67.5 BPM, which is just a bit faster than 1 beat per second. So it's that sort of tempo, that sort of thing. And then eventually it excels until it hits 162 BPM, which is way faster than almost all pop. So let's listen to that moment of accel. What's going on there technically is it does indeed hit 162 BPM by the end, but it actually only accels by about 15 BPM, because what it does is, as that accel section is happening, it doubles the tempo. So the bass drum that would be going da, 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 it goes da, 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 da. So you get a super huge accel. The song effectively doubles in tempo without us necessarily hearing that much of a ramp. There is a fantastic vocal effect at the end that we absolutely must talk about, Freddie, because it's one of my favorite effects. It's called, deep breath, a square wave low frequency oscillator. And so low frequency meaning not very often, and oscillator meaning wobbling backwards and forwards. Square wave is the shape of the wave, and when you have a very brutal LFO applied, in this case to a vocal, what it does when synchronized to the tempo is turn the vocal on and off very, very fast. So we've got this melody that we'll hear. Here's the beat drop section again. Listen out for that melody. So what is actually being sung there is just this note of C sharp, then D sharp, then E, then D sharp again. But because this effect is turning the microphone on and off 16 times in each bar, we get this, let's see if I can do it, 2, 3, 4. And all the vocalist needs to do is sing la, and the effect does the rest. But it creates a particular effect of excitement that you mentioned there, leading up to that huge climax, because we're hearing a singer right in toward the top of the soprano range, the regular soprano range, and we're hearing effectively what would normally be in pop music a hi-hat pattern, but done by a vocal, which is kind of freaky. And then, sure enough, as all big, fast Eurovision songs do, it ends in a huge boom.
You know what that boom reminds me of?
Tell me.
That moment. It's sort of in Go A, Shoom, how it builds and builds and builds. And it starts with a boom, it goes boom, and then it's like, brum, 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 and then it just doubles, increases, and then that final, however long, you are just in it. You are in the song. I feel like that was the effect they were going for.
It's only the last 20 seconds, maybe 15 seconds of the song. They're actually escalating that much. The rest is all very tender. What I think is worthy to note is that's a computer effect. Is he going to be able to bring something similar live? How is he going to do that on the Eurovision stage? We haven't seen him perform that moment of it essentially at the pre-parties. He's just kind of done the ad-lib wasted through it. So
and then hits the big note at the end.
Is he going to be able to do it?
It's really interesting how artists often have in the studio versions these effects and then they have to somehow translate them. And this is not nearly as dramatic, but if you go back to Polygenova, Bulgaria 2016, a lot of people were like, is she going to make that? How is she going to make it sound the same? And it did sound different, but it still sounded great on the Eurovision stage. Austria will have factored this in. A part of me thinks they're teasing or hiding something because at all the pre-parties, he's deliberately made zero effort to act like he's singing it, right? He's like, this is the backing track.
Yeah.
It's very clear. It's very open and honest. And when he hits that final note, he really does hit that final note. I'm just curious how they're going to recreate the studio version live, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, he performed it on Austrian TV. I think it was Dancing with the Stars last week. And when he hit that final note, you felt it, right? And hopefully that's something you will feel at Eurovision stage. I sort of think if he can pull it off, I mean, that oscillating vocal, we don't know how he'll do it, but if he can pull off that kind of epic ending, that for me feels like it could do very, very, very well.
Indeed. And I wonder, Freddie, with visuals, with the strobe light and the chaos of what's going on, will the viewer even notice that he's not singing it? I think they won't, because at the first pre-party in Amsterdam, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I was just wrapped up in the song and the change and him dancing. So I wonder if they've already factored that in. On TV, you're not going to notice the difference.
No, it'd be the kind of quick camera angles mirroring
Yeah.
the kind of quick music. Yeah, I hear you.
And the viewer at home who's at the party, they don't care. They're just like, whoa, and they see him dancing because he can move. I enjoy him when he moves and dances. I think it's quite cute, quite
Yeah.
sweet. So this is a contender. Some people have been like, oh, total flop. But people say that about every favorite, don't they? Every favorite. They love to say, oh, flop.
I feel like the momentum is in its favor. I find it so epic. It gave me the same feeling that I had with Nemo last year when I was like, this is so epic, I don't understand how it can't do well. Do you know, it may not necessarily be my favorite, but it feels like something
Well, it certainly
that's obviously
wasn't
gonna
the public's
resound.
favorite, was it? But you don't have to be the public's favorite anymore to win Eurovision. We've seen this in recent years. Jury votes tend to congregate around one or two acts. And JJ's song seems like the type of song that juries would congregate around.
Will a public vote, though? Will a public vote congregate around it?
Yeah, I don't know. Austria doesn't have huge sway. We see this, they're often borderline in the semifinal. They often struggle to get through. I remember Vincent Bueno, I thought the staging was quite nice in 2021. He had elevated, didn't make it.
Yeah.
So, you just don't know.
Do you think he's going to mirror this? Do you think the staging is going to mirror the music video? Do you think we're going to see a big origami boat?
And a lake and some snow. I wonder, they did a great job aesthetically. And oftentimes people want to keep that campaign going. I have no doubt Claude will have that orange sun, the DRC vista in some capacity. I just feel it. I don't know. It's a good question. We'll have to see. All I know is this. Austria has tasted success. They've tasted failure. They've tasted everything in between.
And this has got a lot of what made Conchita successful. I mean, it sounds like a Bond song, essentially. A big, powerful Bond song. And that worked for Conchita, and I could see it working for JJ.
Yeah, I think Austria is one of those countries they kind of need to push the boat out to do well. Conchita pushed the boat out. This pushes the origami boat out. When they try to do safe, they fail. Safe songs from Austria don't do well. Cesar Sampson, you could say was safe, but that was also a good song. He won the jury vote, but didn't do so well with the televote.
What you're referring to as safe then in this case?
Safe being so for instance, the Vincent Bueno song was typical male ballad. Didn't get through.
Last year we had Colleen. The year before we had
Colleen,
Taya,
24th, 25th? She was near the bottom of the final.
which was a shame because a lot of people loved that song.
Yeah, but that song was slightly edgy though, so that's not playing it safe.
I
think
don't
that
remember
is
her
pushing it.
staging though, and we know that Taya and Selena's staging didn't go down well with the fans.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I quite liked the gothic vibe. I think that it captured. There was for some reason, maybe it was the camera cuts. There seemed to be a lack of energy, in the way it was portrayed visually.
Yeah.
I think that was ultimately.
It just felt like a very big space for two little
yeah,
people.
Yeah. You needed to fill the stage a bit more, but I loved the red and black styling.
And it's a shame because people love that song and they could really sing. Johanna's
Loved the artwork as well.
JJ can really sing. I mean, I feel like it's got what it takes. That's my thought.
Well, Freddie has spoken. You have spoken. That's what we think. What do you think? Did you love that commentary from Professor Joe Bennett? I know I did. Let us know in the comments down below.
Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Tschüssi.